Good afternoon. This is Anthony Brown from the National Weather Service El Paso. I'm here to talk about the potential weather events for tonight into Thursday, as well as Friday, with most of our focus on tonight and tomorrow's weather. I know many of you have travel plans and are preparing to head home for the holidays, and you might want to know what the weather is. So we'll start off with the expected weather events for this afternoon and tomorrow. For the lowlands, expect a really good soaking rain for parts of the western parts of the state, 2 to 3 inches. As you get closer to El Paso and Las Cruces, about 1.5 to an inch. And as you get into the Texas area and Hudspeth and Otero counties, a little bit less than that. But we'll show you those rainfall totals in just a moment. For the mountains, it's going to be a wintry mess. Pretty much all precipitation types are expected, with snow, sleet, freezing rain. This could lead to some accumulations on the roads, on trees, on power lines, and there could be some impacts from that, some slick roads. We do think that parts of the Sacramento Mountains could see enough ice to constitute an ice storm. That's at least a 1/4 inch of glaze. And that could lead to some tree limb damage and power lines as well. A little uncertain. It just depends on how quickly the freezing rain changes to snow or vice versa. And then on Friday, we'll get a follow-up storm with more lowland rains, mountain snows, and wind. So here's a look at our current advisories. Again, for the Sacramento Mountains, we have a winter storm warning. That is for rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. Some locations could see 3 to 6 inches of snow, possibly more, and some areas will see up to a 1/4 inch of ice glaze. For the western portion of our forecast area, which is Hidalgo, Grant, and parts of Sierra counties, basically the Gila area down into the Boot Hill, we could see anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain. This could cause some small stream rises on the Rios, and even on the Gila. Not expecting any flash flooding. Very unlikely to get that, but could still see some water rises. Low water crossings could see some running water. So if you're out driving, especially out in the western part of the state, use caution and don't cross into any flooded roadways or anything like that. So as I mentioned, we're going to get a decent rain out of this. As I said, parts of the western part of our area could see 2 to 3 inches of rain. Silver City could see close to 2.5 inches. Lordsburg close to 2 inches. Same thing with Deming, close to 1.5 inch to an inch in Las Cruces and El Paso. And then the Sacramento Mountains could get 1 to 2 inches or more as well. A little bit less over the lowlands of Hudspeth and Otero County, but still over an inch. So really good soaking rain. This is phenomenal for November, especially for this part of the country. And this is through tomorrow morning, or tomorrow afternoon, rather. For snowfall totals, especially if you're traveling up through the Sacramento Mountains or through the Gila, most of the Gila and Grant County and Sierra County probably won't see very much snow except on the highest peaks. Most of that's going to stay north of those areas into the Albuquerque forecast area. For the Sacramento Mountains, again, 3 to 6 inches with some of those higher peaks seeing more. And again, as I mentioned, we could see some freezing rain in parts of the Sacramento Mountains, especially on the east slopes. Could see up to a 1/4 inch of glaze, and that could cause some tree damage as well, some power line damage. So some power outages are possible up there, although we don't expect widespread impacts. But this could lead to some travel problems as well. So let's take a look at the radar, or what the future radar. Now this is just one forecast model that we use. There are a lot of forecast models that we look at, and this one happens to be the NAM, the North American model, and it seems to be handling the rain so far. So we've used this kind of as a guide to show you what can be expected. So this is looking at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Rain has overtaken, or some form of precipitation has overtaken our entire forecast area. You can see in the Sacramento, snow, which is the blue color. The pinks are a wintry mix of freezing rain, sleet, and maybe some snow. If you notice over western Sierra County toward Truth or Consequences, that it's even showing some snow. We may get some snow even in the valley. Don't expect any impacts. We think most of the impacts will stay to the higher range. But again, light to moderate precip covering the entire forecast area. As we go into later tonight, rain continues for most areas. Snow up in the mountains with freezing rain in some areas too. Could be some moderate to heavy pockets in there as well. By 5 a.m., we think the coverage will start to decrease, focusing most of the precip off over the southwestern part of the state into the Boot Hill. For El Paso, still some lingering showers, but we think more on and off by this point, which is good news for the parade. By 10 a.m., still just scattered showers, periods of rain. If you plan on going out to the Sun Bowl parade, be sure to bring a poncho, bring a rain jacket. It's going to be a little raw. It's going to be a little chilly. Temperatures in the low 50s, winds in the teens, and raining. As we go into Thursday evening, again, just some scattered showers throughout the area. Most places dry. Again, here's the forecast for the Sun Bowl parade. Again, it's going to be raw, going to be cloudy, kind of a dreary day. There will definitely be wet roadways as we see a lot of rain going into it. So now that we've discussed Wednesday and Thursday, we'll head on into Friday, which is our second storm. Starting off Friday morning, most of the precip is going to be over Arizona, not quite into the Gila, not quite into New Mexico. Maybe some light showers still lingering around, but most locations will be dry. If you notice, a cold front's going to be entering the picture too. By 12 o'clock, it's going to be roughly to the I-25 corridor, bringing with it a line of showers. More rain over the far western part of the state. And if you look up toward the Black Range in the Gila, you'll notice more snowfall up there as well. And this could cause some travel impacts up in the Gila and Black Range. By 4 p.m. though, you notice a lot of the precip begins to dissipate. The system is going to kind of lose a lot of its moisture as it moves across our area. So we're going to see precip coverage diminish. Most locations will see snow ending, maybe a little bit of snow in the Sacramentos, maybe a quick inch or two, but we're not expecting too much impacts. And the trend honestly has been downwards for Friday. The other story will be winds. As the front passes, could see 30 to 40 mile per hour winds, but it shouldn't last too long. That could, for the mountains, create some areas of blowing snow too as well. So as you can see, the precip forecast for Friday a lot lower than what we're expecting today. Most of the lowlands staying below 1/4 of an inch, with the higher terrain staying below an inch. And as far as snowfall totals are concerned, 1 to 3 inches most locations in the mountains. So we do have some uncertainties, most of that being the precipitation type in the mountains, especially the Sacramento Mountains. If we get heavier snow or heavier ice, it could lead to some bigger impacts. There's also a possibility precipitation in the mountains could change to rain faster, and that would lessen impacts. As noted earlier, the parts of Sierra County could see a rain-snow mix, but we don't expect any impacts, and we expect the duration to be pretty short. Still a little uncertain about the Sun Bowl parade tomorrow too. We think the coverage is going to become more isolated, but there have been a few models indicating that it could still be raining even for the parade, so keep that in mind tomorrow. And then for Friday, still some uncertainty with the snowfall totals in the Gila, as well as some blowing snow. Still watching the winds for Friday as well. So that concludes the briefing. There are links for all of our social media channels. For anyone out there listening to us NWS chat, you're welcome to message us anytime. For the general public, you're welcome to reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter. We're usually good about getting back to you, and we'll be happy to address any questions. And thanks so much for listening, guys.